Hi, my name is Dawn Boyer, and I'm going to review the first of 4 released books called Color My Sketchbook by the artist Bennett Klein. These are grayscale sketches, and I have to be very blunt and transparent. I am very prejudiced for this artist because his drawings are just absolutely amazing. And I wanted to show the world how wonderful his sketches are. And so I'm going to do a flip through and discussion of the drawings in his book. This book is his first book. So he started posting pictures on Facebook years ago, and I discovered him, I believe, in 2015. And his images were just a perfect combination of a little bit of Stephen King mentality, Salvador Dali, imagination, and I just absolutely grew to love everything he draws. Here's the first one, which has become quite a popular image on Facebook. It is a Harlequin Queen. She's got a lot of feathers, lots of flowers. She's got some gems up there in her crown. Just absolutely beautiful image. Here's the peacock lady. Lots of gorgeous feathers in the background. The peacock in the front sitting on her shoulder. And then she's got a little bit of steampunk going on here with some floral flourishes on the bottom. Here's the royal lion. He's got a coat of armor here that he's wearing. Gorgeous locks coming away from his face. You could just feel how soft and rich they would be. Some peace doves up here. And then he's got a crown. And then there's other embellishments and some cross-hatching for shading. What's amazing is, my understanding is that Bennett Klein actually creates these pictures with a black ballpoint pen. The paper is somewhat thin, so if you are going to use wet media, please do put some paper behind the pages to keep it from bleeding over on the next gorgeous image on the next page. The one thing I like about his books is he does have a little stamp showcasing the book and his name on the other side of the sketch. So if you pull the pages out of the book and forget who drew them, although I don't know how you could possibly forget who drew these images, then you could at least identify which book it's from and the artist. Here's the octopus hat lady. Like I said, a little bit of Salvador Dali and a little bit of Victorian, and you could actually create his eyes as a sort of like a Zendoodle gem, and she's wearing earrings, and there is a lot of white space in the background of his pictures in his book, so that way people can practice filling in the spaces. Here's a gorgeous dragon. I love the viewpoint because it's from underneath and to the left of the actual dragon, and the scales in his body are sort of sagging into her hair, and then there's some beautiful feather designs and a peace dove over here, and then over here a little bit of some Victorian joinery and border design. The people's faces are just absolutely astounding. As an artist myself, I can't draw people, but his are just so realistic, and with just a few strokes, it's just amazing. Here's another lady with a very interesting perspective. She's got owls on her arms, and she's got some strange looking gloves here. It's almost like she's got owl talons underneath herself, and she's got beautiful wings, and then there's a little bit of Art Deco border in the background, and then the strangest looking hat. So I'm not quite sure what that is supposed to be, but I love the World War II hairdo also that she seems to be wearing. Peace out, hippie time. Here's a lady that looks like she's blowing bubbles, although the inclination first is that she's smoking a doobie, but when you look very closely, it looks like she's actually just blowing bubbles out of her mouth. And here's two elephants in the background enjoying playing with the bubbles, and a lot of the hippie flowers on the bottom. I'm sort of looking for, but don't see the peace sign. And then there's a little heart, and then a little bit more of the bordered decorative designs. This image is real popular too on Facebook for colorists and hobby colorists. Here's a Siamese twin wolf up in the tree with some beautiful little birds flowing around. And I think the indication is that there's either a moon in the background or a planet. And this looks like a little bonsai tree that the wolf's heads are coming out of. Here's another lady. She looks very prim and proper, like maybe a little schoolgirl from the Victorian age. And she's surrounded by hummingbirds that are feeding off of the daylilies that are on top of her hair. And this one's sort of simple, but it's great for anybody who might be a beginning colorist who are enjoying gray shades. Here's the phoenix rising up out of the lotus pond. Then there's some Celtic knot work down here at the bottom and some flourishes. And two young ladies that look like twins that are just contemplating and dreaming, rising up and becoming wonderful. And then again, some more Celtic knots and designs at the top and swirls. Just a beautiful design. It's just so hard to believe that these drawings are created from a black ballpoint pen. Now, if you've heard of the movie The Black Swan or The White Swan, this seems to be reminiscent of that ballet. And here you have a swan head with the wings coming out that could also be symbolic of the ballerina's tutu. And there's some flourishes and some dogwood flowers and other flowers, and her head seems to come out of a splashing wave of flourishes. And then maybe some peonies down here at the bottom. Now for you cat lovers and those of you who love the minx or the sphinx type of cats, or manx type of cats, these seem to be those type of spotted type of cats. Has a little bit of an Egyptian flavor because of the designs here that are representative of wings but are not really wings. And then there's some paisley henna designs up through the middle. So the design is just absolutely stunning. I'm wondering, wouldn't ask, but wondering if perhaps Bennett created half the design and then flipped and stitched the two designs together. He has been a graphic artist for years, so he does have the capability of doing that, I would believe. And it just makes a gorgeous mirror image in this book. Here's another dragonfly with dragons in the picture. The indications of the body and the shading are just extremely well done. I love the swirls here at the bottom. They're just so fluid, and they're sort of mimicked and mirrored up here at the top. And if you look real closely, the designs at the top almost mimic the dragonfly eyes, so it's very well balanced drawing. Here's another hippies woman, and there's the peace signs. There's another one. Some lovely flowers, you know, flower power, peace out, all that kind of good stuff. This one's pretty simple, so if you're not quite sure how to do all the more complicated designs, this one would be a whole lot simpler to color in the broad spots and spaces between the lines. Kung Fu Fairy. I'm absolutely adoring how her hair just flows up to the page. It doesn't look unnatural. It looks like it's part of the whip when she jumps up and kicks. It looks like there's some peonies and roses and some other beautiful chrysanthemums and other flowers down here at the bottom. Flowery butterflies flying away. and she's got her fairy wings over here, and it actually looks like she's got some antenna coming up from one side of her face and maybe from the other side of her head. But she doesn't look like she's what you would call a regular elf, more like a human elf, because she doesn't have the pointy ears. But maybe not all elves have pointy ears. This is a very simple design with the butterfly in the center and the beautiful Victorian scroll work and border design. This is a little bit more appealing to those of you who like the steampunk and the skulls. There are some symbolic compass border behind this moth with the skull head on the front. A lot of more of the Victorian era scroll work and designs and decorations. Here's the Lady and the Tiger. This is sort of a medallion here from which some feathers are flowing, so it almost is reminiscent of the Dreamcatcher, and the tiger is just excellently portrayed with the shading with just a hint of a snarl coming up. Beautiful flower. She looks like she's got some Japanese hairstyle going here that sort of moves off into almost a gypsy fall on the side of her face. Again, the lines, the simple lines that create her face are just stunning. She has such character in it, and you can almost read her mind from the expression on her face. Here's another ballerina with fairy wings. This is a simpler one, and I love how the flowers in the background just sort of fade away. So you can use lighter, more faded colors against some brilliant feather and flower colors to bring out or make her image just pop from the page. Here's two images on the page. Here's a Zen-doodled tiger with some absolutely gorgeous doodles and a little bit of sacred geometry lines and more flourishes and just very stylistic, very gorgeous tiger face. And over here is Pegasus the horse with the wings and birds, and it almost looks like the wind is swirling around him with these gorgeous lines there. Here's a zebra fairy. Can you imagine the absolute stunning creativity that is in this artist's mind when they're putting these opposite or strange elements together to so beautifully blend together? This image is one of the more popular ones on Facebook. I guess this is for the people who like the more complicated images. Here's some Zentangled gems up in the headpiece of the fox. Some gorgeous swirls and beads and Victorian design and border work. It almost looks like there's a glowing light behind the fox, and there's some gorgeous borders here. I keep using the word gorgeous, but I'm having a hard time finding any other words to describe some of these pictures. Now here's some absolutely incredibly creative picture where he's combined a skull from what I assume a cow, a human skull, and then used the eyes of the falcons that he's included to sort of represent the eyes that are inside the skull itself. Then there's some steer horns from the cow head coming up here where the roses have intertwined and grown. And then there's other beautiful flowers and leaves and patterns here on this page. So the amazing thing about all the images in Bennett Klein's books are once you pull the images out and color them, every single one of them are suitable for framing. Here is the Golden Buddha with some gorgeous scroll work and very intricate designs and henna, paisley graphics going all the way around. Now this, again, may be one of those images where he created half and flipped it and stitched it together, because it seems to be exactly perfect mirror image. And here is the Indian Ganesh elephant god with the multiple hands, holding the lotus, holding the staff of knowledge, more lotus flowers and symbols, and a little bit of reminiscent of the Celtic knots down here at the bottom, and of course the big fat happy belly, and some more images. The eyes of Ganesh always seem to be of a female human, so just stunning images. And I love the cross hatching and the careful shading that he has done on each picture. This is a stylized, I want to say tiger, and I think it's more from a Chinese style point of view. The huge fangs, the scroll work, it almost looks like metal work here, the way he's done this. And Bennett has a thank you page in the very back of the book. He notes 30 years of professional design and illustration, although I've seen pictures of Bennett and I could tell you he doesn't look a day over 30. And he is in Canada, and this is the first book of 4 that are out on the market. They are grayscale sketches. When I get the books, I absolutely love rubbing the cover because they're a soft matte and they almost feel like leather. And so they're very attractive covers. So here's the book. I believe they are printed on Create Space paper. They are somewhat thin. There are 25 images in the book, and I hope you enjoy the book. I would highly advise you getting any of Bennett Klein's books, because the images in there are just absolutely stunning. Thanks for watching the review.